Clash of Clans Podcast, OG, Episode 5.
Skilly beep boop, beep boop, skilly beep.
And we are back at the Clash of Clans Podcast. I'm Scotty827, and I'm here with my co-host, Tipdawg20. How's it going?
20. Super excited, man. The update has hit, and there is so much to talk about. I know that you have a list. I'm excited to jump into it, man.
We haven't talked all week. Well, a little bit. And I try to save it on purpose. And I've been making notes all week. I'm really excited to talk about it. Big update week. Last episode, first of all, I forgot to even put this on my list. We had talked about the overgrowth spell.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually showed up.
It showed up. I was so shocked. Like I was expecting this to be a leak that was like a month out. And one thing that I think that Supercell has changed, which obviously they've changed, is before they did a spring, summer, fall, and winter update. I think now they're doing updates every 2 months. And these are not just like fixing the bugs. These are like introducing big pieces of equipment and big spells and big troops. Like it's shocking to me that they're moving so fast.
That was crazy. I thought you were going to get in trouble last week for some reason.
I'm not a creator. I'm not a creator, so I don't know any inside information, so they can't really.
Still, Supercell send somebody to your house.
Nobody from Supercell even knows who I am.
No, they're coming for you. So what was your, I guess, update drop Tuesday, was it?
Tuesday,
I think the episode came on Monday night. We dropped Tuesday. What's your read? What were you excited most about? I'm trying to think even now. Go for it. Tell me what was on your list of happy day.
Obviously happy day. So obviously the three big things are the overgrowth spell and 2 pieces of equipment for the RC. And the unfortunate thing about it is I'm not one that spends a lot of money on the game. So my dark spell factory right now is upgrading. It has, I think, a day and a half left before it finishes. Yeah, so I haven't even had a chance to use the overgrowth spell.
I know. I see it in the future and I really, really want it.
So I think that strategy wise, there's going to be some interesting use cases, but it's going to be very niche. So the most interesting use that I've seen for it is using it to freeze a bunch of defenses so that you can knock them down with your queen on a queen charge, which I know would interest you. And then once the queen charge goes, you either let the queen go right or left or wherever she's going to go, funnel her into the base, or you pull her out with a recall spell. Beam her out, Scotty.
Yep.
And then you put down a flame flinger behind the queen to take out the defenses that can actually hit the flame flinger. So the most prime example that I can think of this is in like a southern teaser base. So a southern teaser base is where you have the town hall that's kind of exposed a little bit. Most of the time it's trapped up a lot. So there are lots of giant bombs and skelly traps, maybe Teslas. It's not right on the edge so that it's easily gotten with sneaky goblins, but also it's just not, it's also pretty available. It's not the center of the base. Like it's kind of on the corner. Well, what you can do is you can use the overgrowth spell to freeze everything behind it, maybe to do a queen charge. Or if there are defenses like an expo or something in front of the town hall, then you can get that with a queen charge and then you can throw a flame flinger down. Like it definitely got my brain working as far as different use cases. But the one thing that we know right now is the use case is not obvious like it is with a rage spell or a free spell. I mean, a free spell, you use it on a defense that's shooting you. Like shoot, freeze it. Or here's a big cluster of defenses and I'm sending in my root riders or my super bowlers, rage them, right? So the overgrowth spell doesn't have an obvious use case like that. But it is exciting to think of the different types of strategy that are going to evolve because of it. What do you think of that?
So today when I was doing my CWL attack, I had a flashback to I think it was an attack that I talked about on the podcast a long time ago. And I think I called it the Alien.
Alien.
And it involves shoving a bunch of Velks down the throat of a base and blowing it up from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, with that overgrowth spell on both sides, or however you want to do it, I thought that seems like a potential to get the troops in there and then have them be on top of something when things wake up. So I was thinking, like, when I saw that, I think it was the YouTube video, the barbarians are walking over everything. I thought, ooh, what would you want to be there? And I thought Velks might be a really cool, funnel them in really fast and then go from there. But Queen Charge, I also did think on that overgrowth, two-sided overgrowth kind of thing with the center, like, not overgrown. That might be a really good Quake log roller, giant arrow.
Yeah, we talked about that in a previous episode. So the exciting thing is that we're talking about it, we're thinking about it, we're excited about it, and that's what makes the game fun,
Yeah, but I still don't want to play with a giant arrow for some reason. I think I just like the other stuff better.
What have you been using the most of as far as hero equipment goes?
I was on the frozen arrow, and I was always the healer puppet. I think troop space gives me life. I'm bringing it. So I was doing the frost arrow or the frozen arrow, and then I kept losing my queen.
Yeah.
And I can get in there close, and for a while in the Queen Charge, it was doing really well, like the frozen arrow, but I don't know what it is this week. It's like I haven't teleported her out a bunch of times, just lost her right there. And so my teleporting ability this week has been, let's just say there's some people still on planet somewhere.
They're died to the giant black blob.
Yeah.
the one that killed that one. I forget which episode it was in the Next Generation. Lieutenant Yar, is that right? Lieutenant Yar died to the big black blob, and it was like, why in the world did she die? Well, she got left on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway,
oh yeah,
we're getting way into the nerdy weeds right now on that episode.
Let's just say Scotty wasn't beaming anybody up, and so I've been a little bit off with that. So I went back to the invisibility. I think it just is, for me, it was the highest one, and it also, okay, I hate to say this, makes me sound old, but I can't see where the hell she's been going to in the middle of the battle.
That's not whenever you have all your troops kind of clustered in together, it can be difficult to figure out where everybody is. So I really like the Invisvial and the healer puppet, mainly because I'm not an OP attacker. Like, I'm a decent attacker, but I'm not.
You're good.
I'm not amazing. Like, I fail much more than I succeed. And because of that, I want as much wiggle room as I can possibly get as far as health goes. And the best pieces of equipment for the Queen for that is the invisibility vial, which completely removes her from the field of battle for 7.8 seconds. And then the healer puppet, which fills her up with health and then keeps her alive with the healers, as long as they don't go down to a black line. But
and not to mention, it's flashing. So
flashing.
When I hit that ability,
what are you talking about?
No, the kind of attacks I do are just wild. No, when I hit
across the base,
there he goes again. When I hit that Queen ability, the healers pop out. She starts blinking because she goes invisible. I can see where she's at. So I noticed I was like hitting. I just have had her for so long, and just it's muscle memory that I was hitting the button. She'd hit, the healer puppets would go off, but she wasn't I wasn't getting the same effect as the invisibility bile, and I still wouldn't be able to find her. And so I'd get her at the last minute. But just because we're on that, I do want to put in, and this was on my list, a dear Supercell moment. And here's what I'm going to ask for. I know we just got the update and I really like it, but I want a troop highlight button.
A troop highlight button. What does that mean?
So imagine if you put your Velks down, right? Or your Yetis or whatever they were. And then at any point in the battle, I could hit that troop on the bottom and all of them would glow. Like orange or purple. So you could see like all your Velks or all your Yetis or all whatever it is.
Like almost like highlighted.
Yeah, highlighted. A highlight button.
Like maybe in a yellow glow whenever you press it, so you know where all those specific troops are on the battlefield.
Yeah, could you see it? Can you see it in your head now?
I could.
Like, I they're down there, and you hit it, and it's like this glowing, like woo woo woo, or just a steady. But then you could look at it and flip through and kind of see how all of your troops are engaged. Like, oh, we're in the center. The Velks have clumped up over here. The Yetis have kind of gone over here. And just to give you a little bit more eyes on things that are going on, or just to be able to think about pathing and then on the replays, think about how cool that would be on the replays. Like for YouTube, people like you could be up there going, okay, let's watch these Velks in this clip.
You know where I think it would be really cool is to watch pro players. I don't get to watch as much YouTube these days because I'm making my own YouTube videos and it takes a crazy amount of time to be able to do that. But when I do watch the videos, one thing that I'd like to know is what the player is looking at on the battlefield, because know they're going back and forth between their queen, they're going back and forth between their Sui hero entry on this side and
what should I be paying attention
to? And if you see something light up on the battlefield, then at that point that pro player is checking that out. And you may even see like Christmas lights almost, where it's like light, where they're just checking everything out. Now, granted, the best of the best, I'm sure that they have, a sixth eye in their head, and they kind of have that sixth sense on where their troops are on the battlefield. But knowing that they're doing that and being able to see their thought process would definitely be interesting to me.
Well, you get to watch my attacks.
And I'm interested in seeing what you're thinking as well.
I can tell you what, yeah.
I mean, it could help with strategy planning too.
I just like to illustrate a lot of the things that you should not be doing. And I'd like to think about more myself as like a teacher. Like
you had an OP 2-star though today against a Town Hall 16, and you're only a Town Hall 13, and you still 2-starred it. That's amazing.
And I think I would have done better if I would have been not fat fingering those drops, because once I zoomed out, it all went to hell, and I'm trying to stick my Velks back in that hole. And things weren't going. And so it was there was lots of holes on those bases too.
Yeah, that one there was. And the reason for that is because at Town Hall 16, Supercell created the new merged cannons and merged archer towers, where you make the ricochet cannon and I think it's multi archer tower. So whenever they did that, they didn't fix it on their base. So there used to be an archer tower there, but they merged it, and now rather than 2, there's only 1. So they left the hole on the base. So that's what happened.
So I'm sitting here thinking, is it a trap? Is this, did they really just forget it? These are good bases. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of came with, but that is my dear Supercell moment for the week. I thought that would be cool. A nice little segment.
And the cool thing about it, like it doesn't affect anything on the battlefield. So I would think coding wise, like it wouldn't require much, and it would be a nice quality of life change. I agree.
Yeah, I'm down. All right. So update, back to the update. What's a favorite that you saw immediately?
So I really like the hog puppet.
You got it. I didn't get that either.
So of course I got it on my main, my Town Hall 16, but interestingly enough, I misspoke last time, and it's not available at Town Hall 13. Of course, we didn't know. Like we didn't know when it was going to be available whenever we recorded, but they made it only available at Town Hall 14, and then the haste file I think is only available at Town Hall 15, which I found interesting. I don't understand why they didn't make the hog puppet available at Town Hall 13 unless they thought that it might be too OP for that Town Hall level. But I'm excited to try it. But unfortunately, as I said, I'm not going to spend a bunch of money on this game, and so therefore I'm not going to be upgrading it because I'm maxing out all my other pieces of equipment. I'm getting giant gauntlet at 21. My rage vial is at level 17, so I have one more level to go on that.
Oh, I thought they only went to 15.
18.
Oh, okay.
So, and my healer puppet has one more level. My warden equipment is maxed, and then I have to get my royal gem max. And then once all of that is done, then I can start focusing on my hog puppet and or haste file. So I have a bit of time, but I'm going to have to choose one. Like I'm going to have to look at my attacks.
You got to go.
What do you think?
You got to go for your hog pocket.
You think so?
Yeah. And to the listeners out there, I do know that it's called a hog puppet, but a hog pocket.
You're famous. You're famous for making names for stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of a tradition at the podcast. Well, Boneyard really kind of started that.
I love it. It'll make me laugh every time.
And it just kind of sticks. But I was a little disappointed. I was really excited. And then there was no hog pocket for Scotty. I said, that's it. I'm going up. I'm pushing the button on TH14.
So are you going to use the Book of Building? You're just going to let it ride 11 days?
I didn't realize I had to upgrade the Giga Inferno. And I had been working on it. I thought you only had to do like 1 or 2 levels.
Yes.
I thought 1 or 2. No. So I think I have 1 more level to go before I can push the button. Do I have to have my storages maxed?
You don't have to.
But I mean, to hold enough gold to do the town hall upgrade?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Especially if you have the gold pass, most likely not. In fact, no. If you have the gold pass, then that 20% discount that you'll get eventually in the gold will lower the cost of the town hall enough to where you won't have to have max storages in order to upgrade it.
Well, I started them anyways because I figured that's going to be the next thing holding me up. So I didn't get that. The Dark Spell Factory, I did start. I didn't even see it right away. The Overgrowth spell. I don't know what it was. So I got a 12-hour late start, I think, into doing that. So I didn't really get to see a ton of huge things in the update. You know, the things that I was like most looking forward to. I am so happy about the how many levels to go thing. Because just for like any of the buildings, like level 15, and it shows you how many levels left to go when you're going to upgrade a building.
The progress bar.
Yeah, progress bar.
Yeah, so they took that out, and there was an outcry within Clash of Clans, and so they decided to put that back in, which is nice. I haven't really noticed it, though, to be honest with you.
Well, that's how I figured out that I gotta keep going up my Giga Inferno, another level even. Had I had that bar beforehand, things would have been
Supercell's fault.
Yeah,
dang you, Supercell. You messed up Scotty.
Oh, and we had the new clan chat. That was a big thing.
I forgot about that.
A little weird at first, but I can see it better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nice, but honestly, it just looks different. It doesn't do anything different. And I don't know about the pinned messages. Like,
you can react to it.
Yeah, the reactions are cool, but again, they give you 5 reactions. Like, I want a smiley face reaction because there are several times that you have said something and I don't want to laugh at it.
Eggplant.
You're
Get an eggplant emoji,
or
that should have been
a hog rider emoji
right away. Yeah.
I highly doubt that Supercell will be putting the eggplant emoji in.
Well, dang it.
I'm sorry. I hate to burst your bubble on that.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything different. I was other than I can There's only 5 choices. I don't remember. It's a thumbs up, thumbs down, laughy face. I don't remember the other ones. Cry, maybe. But I was just
I
like,
don't know.
that's so
I got lost
limited.
looking for that eggplant.
Like, give us at least 10. Like, I don't want, sometimes I don't. So a thumbs up seems too impersonal because it's like, you say something that's great, thumb up. Okay, well, and then you say something that's great, laughy face. No, I'm not laughing at what you said. I want to give like an explode symbol or fire symbol.
You got to give us a little wiggle room for nuance.
Yes, exactly. Not just 5.
Right.
5 is lame. Come on, Supercell.
Does it feel like to you that it might be setting up for something newer? And I'm only saying that now because as we're talking about it, it kind of seems like it's a brand new direction with maybe there's something else in mind.
It could. So interestingly enough, the tabs are on the side of the chat when before, I don't know if you remember with global chat, the tabs were on top of the chat. So
join me. Join us.
Join me. No, join me.
Join me. They're claiming it's stupid. Join us.
So I was thinking, I'll give you a level 5 P.E.K.K.A right now if you join. I'll make you co-leader.
Yeah, free co.
So I think my thinking on that is their reasoning is there's not much room up top for tabs, but if you look on the side, there's a whole bunch of room for tabs on the side.
Yeah,
which means that they can add tabs for stuff in the future, which again opens up the alliance idea. I know you don't like it.
No, I do. Okay. When we talked about it the last time, I mistook what we were talking about a little bit. Like the sister clans kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking it was something else at first. Like I wasn't thinking about it like House of L and El Relaxed and like, the family clans. I was thinking about like the earlier days. There was something else that was kind of similar, like a feeder. No, it wasn't a feeder.
There were feeder clans back then.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember, but it was a different type of alliance, or maybe I was just thinking about it wrong. I don't think that. And afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I think I made it sound like sister clans are dumb. So I don't really think it's that.
No, I didn't think that.
I kind of was like, I was just completely thinking about something else. And I don't remember what I got confused on. But
so for example, I had to leave after day 1, which we are now in CWL, which we need to talk about. But yeah. I had to leave for day number 1 because I had to get a couple war attacks done with Tal Shiar in Quark's bar. And it would be really nice if I could just hop between clans and not have to request to join, or I send an invite with my other account that's in House of L, Boimler,
like a place marker.
And then also, whenever I leave House of L, like I lose my status. Like I'm a co-leader, woohoo, yay me in House of L, and thanks D-Max. And whenever I leave for Quark's bar, like I lose that status, and so when I come back, I either have to ask for that status again, or I have to give it back to myself. What would be nice to be able to link the 2 clans to where if I hopped over to Quark's bar, well, then I can hop right back to House of L and nothing has changed and it's not a big deal.
Keep your status.
And if I'm on my Tipdawg20 account, which is in Quark's bar, I could read the chat that's going on in House of L and I could actually comment on the chat from Quark's bar. Like that would be nice.
You could have like an alliance chat.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. Obviously they can't have too many clans because then it would basically turn into a mini global chat if you had 50 clans that are all connected. But I think maybe 5 clans would be a good number.
And maybe, I feel like you're onto something with the traveling thing. I feel like people do a lot of traveling, moving around, and that kind of piece of the game is missing a little bit. Like, I don't even know how to describe what I'm thinking about, but I could imagine a different type of global, like, community thing too.
Well, I remember back in the OG days, like when the Clash of Clans podcast was at its biggest, that you would hop between clans and you would go, to El Relaxed and El Reloaded and House of L2 and all these other clans. And it would just be nice to where you didn't necessarily had to hop around in clans. You could just stay in House of L and you could chat with all your friends in these other clans at the same time.
Yeah.
I realized that drama could come up from that, but
if they did like a 3-clan alliance or a 5-clan alliance,
even starting it at 3 would be good,
Yeah. And then you could have, all right, kind of a team thing. Like you could only be teamed up with 3 different clans or something like that.
Right.
Because that stuff the moving around is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because you have to give up your position, especially if you're like leader.
Mm-hmm.
Getting accepted, getting your promotion back. It would be nice if you could just leave and be like, okay, I'm going to go do this. And you just pop back in. And if you left, your rank would stay there because you left.
Right.
And if you got kicked out, that would be a different thing.
So the only problem that I see with that is if there was a co-leader who gave you problems and they knew that you're going to kick them out and they left before you could kick them out. Like there would need to be a way for you to remove their co-leader status. It would probably be an additional screen on the leader and co-leader. Like you would be able to press who are the co-leaders and check and uncheck, or elders, check and uncheck people in the clan who have this status. And as long as they don't leave the clan alliance, well, then you can keep your status. But the moment that you leave the alliance, well, at that point, too bad, you've lost your status and you have to regain it whenever you come back to the clan.
Supercell really has a good friend in us, I think. We sit here and do a lot of work and come up with these amazing ideas.
All the thinking for them.
All the thinking for them. So pencil this down, Supercell. You can just take notes here.
Yeah. So I would say that we could just let the community manager, Darian, know. But unfortunately, Darian has decided to leave Supercell. Did you hear that news?
I saw you talk about it in the clan chat.
Yeah. I mean, nobody really knows why. I looked for some like YouTube videos, and granted, he's a great guy. He's not going to blast Supercell for anything, disagreements or whatever. But you always wonder, was it a life event? Like people move for a myriad of different reasons. Maybe somebody's sick and you have to move to take care of them, or maybe you received a better job opportunity, or maybe you got mad at somebody from Supercell and you said, gave him the middle fingers, you're going out of the office. Yeah. I don't know. Like it would be interesting to know, but then I guess that's just the gossip.
Maybe he wanted to name it the Hog Pocket and they insisted on naming it the Hog Puppet.
So interestingly enough, Darian, I watched a video a long time ago. Darian is the voice of the Hog Rider, if I remember right.
Really?
He is the voice. Hog Rider. Like he is the voice.
That, that's the type of thing that I want to do, where I want to be famous for. Like I want to be in a movie, but I don't want to be a main character. I want to be like gas station attendant or like person in line number 3. You know what I mean? Or like the guy who jumps out of the way.
So if you
voice of Hog Rider,
if you could be the voice of any one character in Clash of Clans, what character would you choose to be the voice of?
What character would I choose to be the voice of? Oh man, that's a really good.
That's a tough. Man.
Yeah.
And if this is your legacy, like this is what people will remember you by. You're the Goblin voice, or if they come out with the Goblin King one day, that was something that was rumored years ago, is that they're going to come out with a 5th hero, and it's going to be the Goblin King. That. And they never came out with it. And now that we have hero equipment, like I highly doubt that they're going to come out with a new hero for a very, 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 very long time, just because of hero equipment, and how well it's doing, how much money it's making them. But if they came out with the Goblin King, would you be the voice of the Goblin King?
Damn,
what would it sound like?
I don't. That's what I'm trying to think of. That's a really good question. I'm trying to think if there's what's the weirdest troop, for one thing.
The P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, I could. Well, doesn't the P.E.K.K.A. already have a voice?
It does. It's kind of like robotic. It's butterfly. But could you do that? Could you do that?
I could.
Here, I'm gonna practice.
Butterfly. Hello, butterfly.
Butterfly.
I think, you know what? Maybe it's just like the package just needs a brand new voice.
What if
I
it
don't
was
know.
like the Pee Wee Herman voice or something? Butterfly or Barney. Butterfly. Butterfly.
It'd be great if you talked like Yoda.
Butterfly.
You are.
Butterfly, you are. Butterfly, you fly far. You are powerful. Do or do not. There is no try.
Smash. Yeah, I don't know. And I'd probably, if it was going to be my regular voice, you know, maybe I'd do it like Deb the Minion or something.
Deb the Minion.
Yeah.
Deb.
Hey, what's going on there? Hey.
Deb sounds like a female name though. That's a deep voice female.
Yeah. She's a nice road trucker.
You're
from up in the near the Canadian Yukon.
You don't mess with those truckers, man. I see some of them in
Deb
my
is
real
on the
speed.
CD, flying in her little Minion all over this little joint. That's a good one because I did. We probably won't have time for this episode, and because I was trying to think about it myself, and so I'm going to put this challenge up to you because I was adding old episodes back up, and one of the old episodes we come up with the cast of Clash of Clans, the film. And so we had to decide who would play all the characters.
That's interesting.
And so when you said that, I thought, well, I couldn't have asked for a better segue.
John Cena would be the Barbarian King. You don't think so?
No, I had to think for a second of who the Barbarian King was.
Or Hulk. You know what? Hulk, or not Hulk. Yeah, not I pity the fool. No. That's Mr. T. Mr. T, of course, would be the Hog Rider.
Yeah, but he's still got to be the Hog Rider.
Snap into a Slim Jim. What's
Macho Man Randy Savage?
No. What's his?
Snap into a Slim Jim?
Snap into a Slim Jim. What in the world? I can't believe I'm forgetting his name. Holy cow.
That was Macho Man.
You listen to me, brother.
Yeah, that's Macho Man. That's Macho Man. Yep.
Nah.
I think so. 93% sure.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
So think about that. I got to think about my cast. I will say I did figure out one. I think the girl from Queen's Gambit, and this is why I thought I need more time, because I didn't know her name offhand, for the Archer. I don't know if you remember who that is.
I don't. Off top of my head.
She was in Dune 2. So I thought of that today when we were watching that movie.
Are you talking about Zendaya?
Nope. No, she was she played a different character in Dune 2.
Have you watched it yet, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
I've not. I'm so disappointed.
It was fantastic.
I liked the first one, but it was complicated. So my wife and son had issues following it a little bit. But of course, I mean, I've read the books, so I was able to follow. Did you ever watch the original Dune with Patrick Stewart?
I've tried.
I
can't. You know, I don't know. I just can't. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. This was awesome. The books are like that, real political.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you know, it's really. And I don't. Is there 3 of them?
So they're technically written by Frank Herbert. Yeah. There are 6.
Yeah. I've read like the first 4 books, but are there going to be a trilogy of movies? I was going to look this up before.
I imagine there will be.
So what happened? So for this movie, I wasn't sure if it ended at the end of the first book or if there was still stuff left in the first book, because I can't remember where the first book ends and the second book ends. But it was awesome. I would highly recommend it to anybody, especially in the theater. You know, this was one that was awesome to see in the theater.
Yeah, we're definitely going to go watch it.
And watch the other one right beforehand. or not like right beforehand because you'd be like in for like a 6-hour day, but watch it really near because it just continuation, like right on.
So we actually watched the Ballad of. I know we're getting off Clash of Clans, but we watched the Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds. Is that what it's called? Ballad of Snakes and the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
the prequel.
Yep.
And that was really good. Like I was
Was
very
it?
impressed. Yeah, I was very impressed. Obviously, I don't know if they wrote a book on that one or not, but obviously I read the Hunger Games books. Amazing. The movies, amazing. And I was hoping that, this wouldn't be a letdown, and it definitely wasn't. We watched it last night.
Well, that's awesome. I haven't heard anything about it from anybody. I do know it is a book too. So of all the things this week with the update, are you happy?
I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they introduced this much in a non-update update, which I guess now we know it is an update since they're going to be coming out with updates every 2 months.
Did you have to change your pants this week?
It definitely gave me plenty of content to think about, to ruminate on. So, for example, I just put out a video on the Goblin Builder, and nobody knew that I predicted that they were going to introduce the Goblin Builder again.
Tell me about this then.
So the Goblin Builder is essentially a 6th builder, or if you already have auto from the builder base, then it's a 7th builder. And the only way that you can use it is you have to spend gems in order to convince him to build something on your base or to research something in the lab. So it costs 40 gems per day to use him. And I did the cost benefit analysis on it.
You ran those numbers. You crunched those numbers on it.
I spent all day today. and it's so amazing to me. So I don't know, the last time we talked, I did a 6 minute, it's like 6 minutes, 23-second video. It took me 6 hours in production and research and all of that to make that. Today, I put it out. I was shocked it was so short. I think it was like 4 minutes and 36 seconds of a video. And it took me 5 hours.
Wow.
Just researching and production, putting everything together. But basically, the Goblin Builder is great to use for any building or troop that is less than 7.5 days. And the reason for that is because the Goblin Builder costs 40 gems per day to use. And you can buy a book of fighting, for example, from the cash shop for typically $2 or $3. So if you can get it for $3, for example, that's equal to 300 gems on your base. So 300 divided by 40, which is 40 gems per day, works out to 7.5 days. So it's more efficient to use the Goblin Builder if you have something that can be upgraded for 7.5 days or less. If not, just go to the cash shop and buy a book of building or a book of fighting or a book of spells or whatever it may be, because it's going to be more efficient for you to spend your money there rather than spending your gems on the Goblin Builder.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in it because I think the one thing and maybe it was the one thing I went to upgrade first or something. I can't remember, but I saw the gem thing. I was thinking, oh, they gave us a special builder for a little bit,
Nope, and then I their money.
The cost. Yeah, because here's the one thing I will do from now on is I will make sure that when it is near the end of the season and end of CWL, I time out my finishing things up with the upgrades, and stuff like that. Because I was thinking I might have to gem some stuff to do Vortex and CWL, and so I was looking, how to do that. But it wasn't like it didn't seem to really benefit. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like here it is. Now it works twice as fast as a normal builder though.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like having the option, especially so
better than no option.
It's really good for lower town hall. So it's horrible for anybody who's a higher town hall because most of the upgrades are going to be longer than 7.5 days. So it's just more efficient to buy a book of building or whatever from the cash shop. But for these lower town halls, so for instance, when I was at Town Hall 11 doing my strategic rush base, they introduced the Goblin Builder, and holy cow, like for 2 months straight, I was researching 2 things at a time. And most of those upgrades are like 3 or 4 days. So I was banging them out.
Gems?
Yeah. So I spent a good 1,500 gems, but also in the beginning, they give you a ton of gems through achievements. They give you like 1,200 gems or 1,000 gems for reaching 1,250 cups. And then they give you another 2,000
I didn't
gems
even
for
think
reaching
about
Champs
that.
League. So I was gaining all of those gems from those achievements, and I was spending those gems on upgrading things in the lab. And then also I was actually using the Goblin Builder to keep all of my heroes down the entire time because I had so much Dark Elixir there in the beginning. Now it's not as useful. I actually used it in my lab, but I'm not bothering with the Goblin Builder again because of the efficiency perspective.
Yeah.
Like it's just not as efficient once your upgrade.
But he doesn't work any faster, right?
No, he works the same just as a regular builder. But any building or hero that's over 5 days, like you really get into an efficiency problem. And at this point, I'm not going to be reaching that many more achievements. So I'm really valuing my gems. And I don't want to have to go into the gem shop and buy 500 gems or 2,000 gems or whatever. I don't want to have to actually spend money from that sense. And so I think I have 638 gems right now on my base. So like I'm saving them because I want to be able, if I have to donate a troop to somebody because we have 5 minutes left in the clan war and Scotty827 was busy at work all day and he needs these troops right now. Well, I want to have gems to be able to donate those right away if needed. So for stuff like that, I want to save my gems if possible.
Yeah, I do. I did buy a thing of gems this week, in those rare instances with have to gem a hero, with CWL, I thought I'll do it. But I just like the 1 gem boost or the 1 gem donations. I figure whatever, you know what I mean? I can spend that and then it's quick. I don't interrupt my armies. It's just so much nicer. So other than that, I haven't really I'm just trying not to spend a lot of gems on things. And but it was kind of an expensive week with everything going on. And they had a couple deals. I did do like a book of building. Or not a book of whatever the builder potion was, just because I just wanted everything to get within the range for timings to work out.
Yep.
With trying to eliminate some time for CWL and that kind of stuff. But
yeah, so I think on my main, there was a deal that was a book of building, and I think it was 2 builder potions and a research potion for $3. And I do think I went ahead and bought that one if I remember right.
I do have to say though, I think it is really good. I was kind of thinking about this week. Supercell is of course we talk about like the money, and like here they come. But I still think it's really pretty amazing and cool that anybody can play it for free.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much money you make, if you're a kid growing up in a, poor home or whatnot, that it's still anybody has that ability. And just like you said, with the gems coming in, they could have it so there's no free gems in the game, really.
I think that's really cool that they've made they've made the equipment so balanced so that yes, you can spend money on your equipment and you can max out your equipment super fast.
Yeah.
But also with just a tad bit of skill, you can still 3-star even though your giant gauntlet is only level 12. Like you can still do it. It may be a tad bit easier if you have a higher level giant gauntlet, but it's still possible. So I just had somebody who commented on one of my videos that said that Supercell is still the best free to play game there is out there. They have been for the past 12 years. Like there's no game that makes it more fair for a player who's free to play. And that's they don't spend any money on the game. Clash of Clans is the funnest game that somebody can play without spending literally any money on it.
Yeah. And it doesn't, I don't know. I haven't played a lot of other games, but it does seem like in other games, it's just like, there's no hope for you if you're not going to pay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to shout Supercell out for this week because I think that's really pretty important.
Yeah, definitely. So have you had a chance to use the RC Hog Pocket or the Rage file Haste file at all?
No, because I don't have it.
Oh, that's right. You have to upgrade Town Hall 14.
2013 is what I'm thinking. Town Hall 13. I've been putting up those old episodes, so it's like I'm stuck in 2013. And looking down here at my my OG moment for the week, I was thinking about, as I was thinking about the town hall, going to push the button, I did not realize, like I said, and I was talking to Maximus, and I said to him, I was trying to think of like, what's one of the biggest quality of life updates, or what's one of the big things that, maybe I've forgotten about over the years.
Or that you want, or something that they did.
Something that they did.
Okay.
And I figured out one of those things. And it was actually about, I don't know if it was, it was 10 years ago in March. So I had the notes pulled up here before, and I'll come back to this because it would probably fit better with like next episode, because it was March 12th, 2013. They introduced the Dark Troops.
Mm-hmm.
But they also introduced moving multiple wall pieces at one time.
And it's so funny to think about, because it's just, it's second nature now.
Were you playing in those days?
So I think that was right before I started, like a year before I started.
You used to have to. Okay, first of all, there was no like, here's 2 different bases, or you can work on this base, and then you can come back to it, and later, and then set it to go. You had to do everything live. And if you stopped when you were doing it, that's how it would set. So it was like, if you were guarding your loot or you're doing whatever, you had to make sure that you had it done, and you had to move every single wall piece by hand.
Yep. So I do remember when they added the map editor and the ability to save maps.
Yeah,
I think that was in 2016, if I remember right. I do remember when they added that. And that was huge, because like you said before, like you had to edit your base little by little. Now you can pull it out into the map editor and you can save it. You can save up to like 6 or 7 maps now, when before there was no way to save anything.
Yeah.
Like
none.
Yeah, exactly.
And the walls, each little piece you'd move. And I remember, I think there was, I can't remember what it was in relation to now, as I'm thinking about it, but it was where you would end up doing your entire base, and then you couldn't find a wall piece.
Yeah, you'd lose a wall piece. Yep.
You'd lose a wall piece, and then you would lose your base because you couldn't put it down or something. So like, I remember just sometimes just sitting there, you'd have to sit down to do your base and work so hard and forever. So that was that was 2013, the multiple wall select.
Mm-hmm.
And that saved many people a lot of hair, a lot of time.
So has there been anything that they've introduced since you've come back that you're like, wow, this is the coolest thing that they've done quality of life wise, that you're just amazed with? Holy cow, this makes the game so much easier.
Well, I think that, okay, for number one, the training, so that we can basically have 2 armies trained. I think that's pretty cool. And there was some stuff before I left like that. But here's what it was. Okay, so I was talking to Maximus about it this week too. So I used to work at a restaurant, and I was a cook. No, I was a dishwasher, and sometimes I was a cook, but I was a horrible cook. Not bad food, but I just was not great at the timing. But I used to work with this woman, and she do like prep cook, and she grew up in the Great Depression. And so when she was working in the kitchen, she would, every little scrape of food, every and batter around stuff, she'd be wiping that whole thing down. Like, she would not leave anything left to chance. And that's how I feel about how I grew up in Clash of Clans.
Yeah.
And so the reason I say this, and the old days were really fun. It's just fun to talk about it like it was a nightmare, because it's always been great. But now looking back, you kind of go, wow, that was wild. But I have to get used to a different kind of mindset, I think. And the mindset is going from I cannot let one drop of elixir or gold or any resource touch the nothingness, right? That dark elixir storage is filled up. Oh my God, I have to spend it. I have to spend it. I cannot, drop a drop of elixir.
Yep.
And to change to a different mindset, maybe of I'm just gonna keep my storages full.
Because loot's so easy.
Yeah, loot's so easy. It's like it doesn't really matter as long as I keep my army or it's keep my storages full, so that way I'm ready to go. Because like I'm going through these bases and maybe wanting to hit this one or this one, and I just don't stop because there's like not 10,000 DE. You know what I'm saying? And so like, and how many times did I push the next attack button back in the day under the old system rules of loot and, army camps and cost and all this stuff. So it is ingrained deep. And so I'm kind of curious if somebody newer has started to play that, in the last, like, maybe since the armies hasn't, how they think about storage and loot and everything like that, because there's just a lot of stuff. And maybe this will change when I get to Town Hall 14. I'm not sure, if the loot differential is any different. But I was like, Scotty, calm down. You just because we got what? 30 million gold and elixir.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just spending it.
From your gold pass.
Oh, yeah. I felt like I got done Christmas shopping. You're like exhausted after that.
You know what? I love it because so many players just take it for granted. Like, oh yeah, in the season bank, and you're like, holy cow! Like, what can I spend it on? What can I upgrade? Oh my gosh!
Oh my God!
Yes,
I'm getting new walls. Getting a new fridge.
It's such a better experience.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind over the week to think about how fast like the progress with some of the research, some of that, and so along with that mentality of kind of wait, it isn't the Great Depression anymore and how things are going. That kind of goes the same with armies, and with CWL, in which we started this time, it's still hitting me that I can just practice with any army all the time. And so today when I attacked, and what I've been having a little bit of problems with the war attacks, I think, well, first of all, I choke every time almost.
But it'll come with muscle memory. It'll come with muscle memory.
I've always done that. Always.
I think you'll get there. Like you have the skill to be able to get really good at one attack, which, I mean, that's how we all did it. Like we got really good at one attack and then we moved on to another attack. And you're going to get really good with base ID to where you're like, oh, this would be a great base to hit with Yetis. This would be a great base to hit with dragons. And you're going to learn where to put freezes, where to put rages, where to use heal spells. Like that'll just come with time,
And these troops, right? Like the Yetis are pretty new to me still. Most of the stuff is, well, Yetis really they didn't use ice golems a ton. So there's a lot of troops, some new spells that I haven't really played with. But I think now what I really need to do, because of like today's attack, is I go into the path the way I think about the old days. So I'd get down and I'd be ready for war, and then I'd train my army, spend a ton of time looking at the base, and the army was always a little different. And so like today and yesterday, going in and looking at those bases, I changed it up from what I was doing. And what I should do is just run those attacks in the wild a few times with the same spells, because I add a couple different spells and I go in and everything gets thrown off.
Yep. And free troop training allows you to do that. Like you can train the same army. It doesn't cost you a thing. You just run it and run it and run it, back to back to back to back, and you gain loot at the same time, while you're farming.
And I have been running with, Yetis, and I've been doing like Quattro Quaco out in the wild, and I've been doing that stuff. But when it comes to the war day, what I really should do is go, okay, that's the base, especially CWL. I could take this war army that I had today and try running some combinations with it, or tomorrow when I think I know which one I'm going to hit, just go out and get the rhythm of, because today I forgot to drop my Skelly spells again. Because I don't usually run with Skelly spells in the wild. Everything that I'm used to doing is just fine. But when it's like, I better take that because this is there, then I start to get kind of thrown off. And it makes everything just crazy, as usual.
You're telling that story about the lady from the Depression. I actually worked at a restaurant as well. And I was a very, very poor server working my way through college. And I remember not having any food at my apartment to eat at the end of the night. And the restaurant that I worked at served biscuits.
Ooh.
And you were not allowed to eat any of the biscuits, no matter what. And they watched you pretty hard. And I remember back in the day being so hungry
Fingering a biscuit.
At the end of the night, at the end of my shift, they would literally throw out all the biscuits at the end of the night. And there were 30 biscuits in there. I would volunteer to throw out all the biscuits, and I would stuff 3 or 4 of them in my apron, along with, a few of the jams and a few of the butters. I'm like, I would take it home, and that's what I would eat for supper every single night. And I wonder if that, right now, I'm tight with money. I feel bad. Like I bought that $3 deal from the cash shop, with the Book of Heroes. Like every time I buy that, I feel bad because I'm like, man, I'm spending, and honestly nowadays, I have plenty of money. I live a very nice life. I'm very happy, successful, but I still have this emotion that pops up when me, and I click that button and I put my thumb, on the thumb reader on my iPad, and it goes ding. That almost triggers something in me, you just spent money. Did you really need to spend that money? So it's interesting that you're talking about that because it brings up interesting emotions within me as well.
I have that little voice in my head, same thing. But it did say on there, go for it. And so I thought on the deal, it said, go for it.
Well, we got to listen to Supercell. We have to.
I mean, how can you resist that? I was like, yes.
That's the most powerful marketing message there is. Or just for you.
Well, and I do that just for you. Yeah, you're just for you. I think it was go for it today. Just go for it. It was something so it just seems so welcoming. I was tempted. I do that too. But, and I was thinking too this week in looking at those bases in CWL today, I'm not sure I really am in a super hurry to get to Town Hall 16, to be honest.
Yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah, those bases are rough. And I remember being it was probably number 6, 8 in the clan, but I was usually one of the top town halls, the top town hall level. And I kind of like being a little bit down. I mean, not so great for these wars, but
I mean, it always sucks to be one of the lower town halls, especially the fact that House of L, whenever they did war, which I looked, the last time that they did CWL was in 2021. So it's been 2.5 years. It was September of 2021. So it's been 2.5 years since House of L has done CWL. And they ended up in Masters 2. And right now, Masters 2 is pretty much all Town Hall 16s, straight across the board. And we're fighting against these Town Hall 16s. I mean, we have a few Town Hall 16s. I know that Chewy brought one over, I think. D-Max has a Town Hall 16. But Max has a Town Hall 15. Did he upgrade to Town Hall 16?
He's on his way there.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have a few. But most of us are Town Hall 14s, Town Hall 13s, and going up against those high bases, trying to even just 2-star is difficult. But I mean, eventually, we're likely going to drop from Masters 2 down to Masters 1. And then next month it'll probably be half Town Hall 16s, a quarter Town Hall 15s, and a quarter Town Hall 14s next month in Masters 1. And so we might drop again to Crystal 1. And I imagine that that's about where we'll plant our flag. I have a feeling that we're going to have we've already had several fans in the stands come over to House of L to help us out. Imagine we're going to get a few extra fans in the stands, with maybe higher bases that want to hang out and help House of L. So if that's the case, I really feel like Crystal 1 is where we will take our stand, and then we will slowly creep our way back up.
We will make our stand at Crystal 1.
Crystal 1 is where it is. Crystal 1!
We will destroy you. No, so like with the I like those wars where it is a range of town halls. Mm-hmm. And so kind of seeing that today, since we started, I'm like, oh yeah, I like it when there's like a bunch of town halls at the top. I don't know if it gets like that on CWL, or if it's, if some clans are a good mix or not. But I suppose if you're just all a heavy super war clan, you're going to just probably end up in there, right? We're not going to match with people that have similar town hall levels to us, right? We're going to just naturally float based on our level.
So CWL is a little bit different than regular war matchmaking. So regular war matchmaking, whenever you just do a regular war spin, Supercell will actually match you against a clan who has similar town halls to your own, but CWL is nothing like that at all. So CWL is every clan for themselves, and you, as a clan, you try to get as high as you possibly can. So House of L is a perfect example of that. Back in 2021, when House of L was in Masters 2, they were actually in Masters 1. I imagine, in 2021, that was Town Hall 14. So I imagine that they literally had all Town Hall 14s, which is the max Town Hall at the time, up and down the board. And that's the reason that they were able to climb so high. And then now that we don't have all these max accounts, well, we're warring in House of L. Well, the last time that House of L warred was in Masters 2. So that therefore that's where we're stuck at, and
can you imagine the clans that we get faced against? How are these guys? We're right up here.
It's pretty common, to be honest with you. So
really?
I've been in Champs 1 before, and there are clans, and even Champs 1's the highest level of CWL, even in Champs 1 and Champs 2, like you're going to find clans who are fielding their clan with, a range of town halls. I've gone against Town Hall 9s before.
Oh, okay.
And Champs 2. But that, again, is likely because maybe that's a dead clan. And, back in the day, they had a bunch of high-level town halls, and then somebody decides to restart the clan up again, but they don't have all those high town halls that they had before, and they're going to get completely trashed until they demote all the way down to a level where they can kind of hold and find their matchups, and then they can start working their way back up if they're interested in building the clan and, getting more max accounts and all of that.
I do like that we get a war attack every day, which is kind of like I said before, war isn't so draining, I think, for people like in the clan. So it's been really nice. You know what? And I have to just jump here before I forget, because we're getting long on time. We forgot to talk about one big piece of the update that I'm surprised you didn't mention.
I'm intrigued.
And now I really want to know about your feelings.
What
do you think of the Space Queen?
Oh, so it's so funny. I made a video on it, and in the video, I'm making the video, and I said that it looks like that Supercell went old school on the space outfit. And I laughed at myself afterwards, but I said in the video, it looks like they went more Lance Armstrong than like Star Trek-y or Star Wars space theme. But it's not Lance Armstrong at all. Lance Armstrong is the biker. And so I was editing the video. I'm like, oh crap! Like I'm either gonna have to go back and re-record And the problem with those Gold Pass videos is once I click, to collect the items, like they're clicked. I can't go back and re-click them. So I just went ahead. I showed the picture of Neil Armstrong.
Oh.
And I haven't had anybody comment on the video be like, dude, you're
double over top
not Lance Armstrong, it's Neil Armstrong. Well, yeah, I put his picture up, put his name over the picture, hoping that you would forgive me for that faux pas.
So what'd you think? Were you happy?
I thought it was pretty lame, to be honest with you. Like it definitely looked a lot like Lost in Space, like old school 60s space outfits rather than something new and sleek. And yeah, I really, so they kind of ripped off Game of Thrones when they did the Of the Norse skins.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty obvious that those were Game of Thrones themed skins, but obviously, for copyright purposes and stuff, they couldn't call them Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, why don't you choose something else that's a little more modern? I threw out Star Trek, but you can use any space themed. I mean, you could do Firefly. Or I guess did they wear spacesuits in Firefly? I don't think they ever did.
No. I don't know. I guess I don't remember.
Or something like that.
I was really excited, thinking, oh man, space theme. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know if it was like, I was thinking like big ray guns or
and that's what she had. She had like this old school 1930s movie ray gun.
and I was expecting that, but maybe meeting like the Jetsons or something, or like some future. But I kind of thought she looked like East German Russian cosmonaut from
totally
like the Cold War or something like that, in a video that was gonna be like, this is the future of mankind.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought it was. Exactly. So I was disappointed that so it's not my favorite skin by far. Like by far. I did put it on because I don't know if you noticed, but the Gold Pass was half price.
Yeah, I saw you saying that.
It was actually technically 57% off, but for anybody who had not bought the Gold Pass since the price increase, they lowered it to $2.99. So on my Boimler account, I had not bought the Gold Pass in probably 2 or 3 years since my wife played, because that was actually my wife's account that I took over. And so it was $2.99 on that account. So I'm like, I never buy the Gold Pass in this account, but man, I'm getting a ton of magic items for $3. So feel bad or not, I'm going to go ahead and buy it. So I did. So I went ahead and threw the space themed queen skin on my queen on that specific account, but I'm not going to use it on any other.
Did you watch her when she dies?
I did not. Does she have a special graphic or whatever?
I don't know, but well, yeah, I think she does. It made me think, what does the queen normally do? It looks like she's choking to death. Like she can't breathe.
Oh, that's horrible.
It kind of just
like she ripped her space helmet off?
Like she's stuck in her space helmet and she can't get it off.
Oh, that's interesting.
And she's kind of sitting there spinning, and it almost looks like she's like, she can't breathe. And I felt a little bad.
Well, like, that's a horrible
way to die
for like a kid's game, like, so a few years ago there was this push to change a term. So right now, if you send your heroes into a compartment to get down specific defenses, let's say that you lead off with a golem and you send in your king and your queen, maybe your RC behind it, but anyway, you do a hero entry into the base. That was lovingly called Sui Heroes. And the reason it was called Sui Heroes was because basically you're sending your heroes in to commit suicide.
Oh.
So it was called Sui Heroes. And there was this big push from Supercell to change that into doing not Sui Heroes, but doing a hero dive. And so I've tried to respect that every now and again. Like it'll slip out. Like I send in my king and my queen into a Sui Hero situation, but I try to remember, do a hero dive, do the hero dive, just because, I mean, it does have a negative connotation. You don't want to encourage any thoughts or anything like that. But it is interesting. I suppose your heroes die when they're on the battlefield.
Yeah. Well, and she's standing there, like just going around, but normally it just looks like she's dazed or something. This one, maybe I'm just crazy. But I thought, well, that's a little weird. Like I wanted to stop and help her kind of thing.
That's so funny. You have her on your the skin on your queen?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I'm kind of anxious to see what the kings look like. I haven't looked to see or what the theme or like the scenery might look like. I think they have it in the
I might have to buy this. I have not seen it yet. Have they come out with a space scenery? I don't think so.
I think it's featured in the challenge.
Oh,
Like
interesting. I haven't looked at the
to beat it.
challenge yet.
Yeah, I did do it, but I don't remember what was on the board.
So
like I didn't.
If the scenery is like Jetsons themed, I might have to pass. But if it's like any cool space theme at all other than the Jetsons, I'm probably gonna have to spend the $6.99 or $9.99
Yeah,
whatever it is so that I can have it.
I want one that's just cool. I did buy the one. I don't remember. It's called like Magic or something like that, just because it looks like Planet Krypton a little bit, but it has pink crystals instead of the white.
Oh, the magic map. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I thought, oh, that kind of looks like House of
L. Yeah, it does.
Krypton kind of thing. But I would like something else too. I mean, I would go. That's a little bit too busy. I would do your Supercell with just like a bigger map or something.
You know, there are a lot of people who collect the maps and who collect the skins. I can't do it. There are some skins that I buy, but man, if you collected all of the maps and all the skins, I mean, they're putting out new maps and new skins every month or every other month.
Yeah.
You'd be spending $20-$30 every month just on skins and maps. I can't justify that in my mind. Like,
yeah, it has to be like something that I'm like, oh yeah, I'll keep that. This time I was like, okay, I just want to try something different. But I'm so used to the old one that it's almost disorienting.
You're going to get a new one whenever you go to Town Hall 14. The jungle scenery.
Oh, they give you different offers?
They give it to you whenever they came out with Town Hall 14, they gave everybody who went to Town Hall 14 the jungle scenery. It's pretty cool. Like, it's very basic, but it's pretty cool. So you can, whenever you go to Town Hall 14, you can check it out, look at it, see if you want to put it up.
I'd love one like that. Looked like Planet Krypton, like with those crystals, but like this cavern. I just would like also just the outsides to be a little bit farther away so you could see.
Yeah.
A little bit. I suppose that's part of the attacking and everything, but
so you're talking about not making the actual gameplay map bigger, adding more tiles, but widening how far you can go to look at the cool stuff to the scenery that's around the gameplay area.
Both, I think. I wouldn't mind either one. It just seems like there's just a lot crammed in there right now. Like, which is, it's hard when I'm doing those attacks, especially if I'm, on the phone, like zooming in and zooming out. I suppose you'd still be doing that anyway. It's just.
Did you know that there is a banana on every single map that they've put out?
I did not.
So I have a buddy named Bad Stag. He did a video on it, and he's been gone from the game for, I don't know, a year now, but he put out a video on it. So he hasn't done the newest maps, but showing where there is a banana located somewhere on every map. And now it's almost a game. So if you go over to the Clash of Clans subreddit, that's one of the first things. Whenever they put out a map, somebody will put up a post. Found it.
Found the map or found the banana.
Found the banana.
Oh,
like,
I did not know that.
So funny.
I feel like I've seen it though. Like, stuck in there. What else is on your list? I think I have went through almost everything that I've got here.
I'm sure that there will be stuff that comes up this week for sure that we can talk about next time.
Yeah. Shout outs. I'd like to shout out Papa Chewy Smurf.
Yeah, Chewy's been a huge help, brought over multiple accounts to help us in House of L. So huge thanks to Chewy for sure. Big shout out.
It's like I don't know who I'm talking to anymore. So we did CWL. He brought over some accounts, and Blunder came over. And Blunder also had been in the House of L at one point, and I'm pretty sure it's really weird. I remember things. But I think it was around the time that Huffer and those guys were there.
Yep,
And
I remember
I think
Huffer.
I was going to see Rogue One or something. It's right at this update. So I gotta try to find it in one of the old episodes.
So I actually warred with Huffer. I can't remember the name of the clan, but it was with Clash with Costly. I remember was the name of the leader. But me and Huffer were in a clan together after House of L for probably a good 6 or 7 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't talked to Huffer in
Yeah, I've talked to him in a long time.
Since 2016. So it's been a good 8 years. Yeah, I haven't thought about him in a while.
So those are my shout outs. More episodes are going up online. I think I'm through 25. I'm going to try to make another big dent here this week. There are more episodes than I thought. And so once I get into, I know the 100 most current, no problem. But the old feed went below that. So just reconstructing the order, I had to go through a bunch of files and everything. So, but I had a really exciting week this week in Clash. I'm really excited to see how the CWL turns out and everything. And I'm really excited to work with the new overgrowth spell.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know me, I will probably be playing the heck out of it all week long. And
It'll
so
replace your fascination with the recall spell.
No. No. No, I love that thing. That's going to go in there next to it. I think I'm going to take out. Might even take out a jump.
You're not going to have any room.
I know.
Dang it, we can only take 11 spells. Crap.
I know. I'm only, but I'm so excited. So 2 more days, and then my research will be done. So I'll take it to level 2 already if I can.
Nice.
Well, that's all for me. Any follow Tipdawg's YouTube. What's the newest videos you put out? You said
just put out one today on the Goblin Builder. Put one out about the Gold Pass, and then I put one out on Friday about whether or not to upgrade your Frozen Arrow and the Giant Gauntlet.
Yep. I watched that one.
So, which is it was a different perspective. So I wanted people to understand that if they like a specific piece of equipment, there are situations where the Vamp Stash, for example, actually works better than the Giant Gauntlet, and same with Frozen Arrow. So I wanted people to feel okay because there's
doing what you want.
Yeah, there's almost this bully pulpit out there. People who are like, if you don't use a Giant Gauntlet, then you're trash. And I've actually had people who commented on my videos. And on that specific video, I did have somebody comment that basically said, you're a trash attacker. It's why you don't use a Giant Gauntlet. And I'm just like, I mean, that you obviously either you didn't watch the video or you watched it and you're just so stubborn that you can't see the point that I'm trying to make. Like, I'm not saying that the Giant Gauntlet's not good because it's amazing. I use it on my Town Hall 16 all the time, but use the piece that is best for you and be okay with that. If that's the Frozen
I like
Arrow,
that about that
use
video.
It, you know,
I like that about that video because I was watching it and you kind of went through them and kind of highlight the different ones, and it is about being okay with what you want to play with, and then also that things are changing and there new equipment and things are being introduced, and new combinations. I thought that was
and I'm looking forward to the possible Warden's new epic equipment, which is the Fireball.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if nobody knows if that's a real piece of equipment or not, or if that was just a video flashy edit.
Have we ever seen something like that though?
There's
an edit, and then like it was
sneaky. They're sneaky.
Yeah, that will be exciting. And so it'll be forever until I'm rocking the Hog Pocket, but we'll see.
Same.
So get a hold of us, Clash Clans Podcast at gmail.com. come visit
ClashClansPodcast.com.
Yeah, clashyclanspodcast.com, and stop by House of L, war with us, or hang out. I don't have the clan tag, but I did put it on the website, and it is House of L level 22 clan. So it's, I think, the only one that's that high. And I think we were the very first House of L ever.
Yep.
Because it wasn't there when I searched for it.
Yep.
When we created it. So looking forward to another week clashing and to catch up with you and see how it all goes down. So keep it clashy, everybody.
Keep it clashy.
Skilly beep boop.